Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nittai Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Bit more enthusiasm.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Warm welcome, a loud welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming, joining us for the Sunday program here in the temple today. And we are very fortunate and honored we have with us today His Holiness Atmanivedana Swami Maharaj. Let us welcome him by loudly chanting Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Brief introduction, Maharaj is from the UK. He's a traveling sannyasi, initiating guru in the ISKCON movement. And he has many disciples in Switzerland, comes here every year. And he actually came quite surprisingly this time due to the passing away of one of his disciples, Rajamani Prabhu. And so we are very fortunate that Maharaj came to guide us in this, for many of us, difficult time. And so he kindly also agreed to speak today. And we are happy and honored. Please, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So any particular topic?
No.
All right. Hare Krishna. So how long is this? 1 hour? 5 o'clock? Om Jnana Trimanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshus Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So who is coming here for the first time? First time, okay. First time. Welcome, welcome. Hope your visit is very fruitful. So here in our Krishna temple, we are going to discuss about how to get joy in life. Generally, we find that in the material world, if you ask anyone, what is that which you're looking for? Generally, they will say we are looking for two things: peace and happiness. But the peace is very much eluding us. Likewise, the happiness is also eluding us. Sometimes we think in our minds that if I had this facility or that facility, or if I am in this situation, or if I am in that situation, I'll be happy. But then all you have to do is look at other people who may have those things which you desire, and they already have it. Are they happy? Maybe even the situation which you may think will bring you happiness, but then you see around the world, there are people in a similar type of situations, but are they happy? They are not happy. Because really, we do not know what happiness is. That is our misconception of happiness. Unless until you know what is happiness, even if happiness comes and stares in your face and embraces you, you will not know what is happiness. It's very difficult to know what is happiness. Although we have an idea of what happiness is. Hare Krishna. We have a concept of happiness. But really, who has experienced happiness? Anyone in the room here can say they have experienced happiness?
Yes.
Someone saying yes?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay, what is your experience of happiness?
Well, joy from the inside. That's what I could say. I feel happiness now in different things than before. But before I would be happy if something that I desired happened. But now I find happiness in service. So.
No, that is because you are serving Krishna. So obviously, the secret of being happy is to engage, as Krishna says, in devotional service. Devotional service, of course, means the serving the Supreme Lord Krishna. But other than that, can you experience happiness? No, the joy comes when you are connecting with Supreme. Prabhupada explains that Krishna is the powerhouse of happiness. And when we connect with Krishna, then we are connecting with that powerhouse of happiness. And then we begin to enjoy happiness and experience happiness. Because the very nature of the soul is to be happy. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very clearly explains, Mamai Vansa Jiva Bhuta Jiva Sanatan, that you are all my parts and parcel. So we are all fragmented parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Now the Supreme Lord is described in the scripture as Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means he is eternal. He doesn't die. Chit means he is full of knowledge. And his knowledge is absolute in every department. Not a department, but every department. Then he is Ananda. He is always blissful. And Vigraha, that he has a very beautiful form. Now, since we are parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, then we also have the same potency of being eternal. So we don't die. Although what we experience as death is its temporary discarding of this material body when it comes to the end. Just like, you have very nice clothing. After using those clothing for some time, and due to wear and tear, it becomes old and useless. So what do? You discard it. Now, do you think about your clothing once you have discarded? Do you go back and think, what, this was my clothes? I cannot discard it, it's my clothes. It's of no use to you. So you discard it without a second thought. And you dispose of it. So similarly, this body has also got an expiry date. Its usefulness. So when the body becomes useless, then we discard the body. And that discarding the body is what we call death. So just a temporary discarding of the body doesn't mean that you, the person, is dead. You live on, because that is the very nature of your soul. And since being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, then you live forever. Now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that the living entity, the spirit soul, never dies. It can never be cut to pieces. It can never be burnt by fire. It can never be drowned by water. And this is the most important. The spirit soul never gets hungry. But you and I, if we go without food for 24-hour period, immediately the pangs of hunger begins. And say, I'm feeling hungry, And if you go a little longer, then say, oh, I haven't eaten for almost more than one day. I'm not having any energy. And you become, energyless. But the soul never feels hungry. Now also in the Bhagavad Gita in 2nd chapter it describes the soul, since it's spiritual in nature, it doesn't feel hot or cold. Now, we are approaching now, the beginning of the winter, and I just saw yesterday first snowflakes outside my window. So I think, okay, colder temperatures are coming, and we wrap ourselves with nice woolly clothes or turn on the heating to keep ourselves warm. But the soul does not feel any cold. Or in the heat of the summer, the soul doesn't feel hot. So that is the nature of the soul. It's eternal and it is not influenced by the material environment. Second, it has the potency of getting knowledge. Now, of course, the Supreme Lord is absolute and He is full of knowledge in every single department you can think of. But in the material world, we may be very, very intellectual, and you may go to university and get a graduation or PhD in a particular subject. Sometimes I have known some people who have 2 or 3 PhDs, but that's limitation. They cannot be a PhD in every simple faculty of the education system. So you are limited. Next, the concept of happiness is also limited. Krishna is the all happiness, and we get a flickering happiness because we are very minute in size, so we can only experience minute happiness. Nonetheless, that happiness is also pure happiness. And then we have a form. Temporarily, when we are in this material body, we think this is my form. But this is not your form. This is temporary vehicle which you are traveling in. So Prabhupada explains this analogy that if you put on a particular dress on your body, then the clothing which you wear will take the shape of your body. But the clothing doesn't have that shape. You know, you fold it up and it's in a small size. But you unwrap it and you put it all over your body, then it wraps around your body. And therefore, it appears that the clothing has taken the shape of your body. So similarly, this material body, which is made out of 5 material elements, is a dressing and it is a perfect vehicle for making a journey. We are all making what I describe as life journey. From the moment we take birth in this material world till we end. End means that we finish our journey and we discard this vehicle, because this vehicle is not of no use anymore. But what is that journey? The journey is to make progress towards the Supreme Lord. And now, sometimes people question that if we were meant to be in the spiritual world, then why we are in the material world? So the reason why we are in the material world is that we decided with our free independent will. Because even in the spiritual world, you have free will. You can exercise your free will. But that exercising free will in the spiritual world is with full knowledge of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, you will exercise that free will in embracing the Supreme Lord and serving Him in the spiritual world. Now earlier I was giving the lecture, I was saying that this concept of serving the Lord, why we should serve Lord? Why should I become His servant? Because in this material world we have this misconception that when we become a servant, it is a very lowly position. And that lowly position means we are basically like a slave. We have no rights. But here, when you are a servant of Krishna, and Krishna says, you are serving me with love and affection, I will reciprocate in kind with you. And He will be serving you. So there is a reciprocation of service between the devotee and the Supreme Lord. This is very exemplary given in the story of Sudama. Sudama was a childhood friend of Krishna. They were in the Gurukula together. And then they parted their ways after the Gurukula education was finished. Krishna went on to do his business and Sudama went on to do his business. But the only problem was that during that time when in Gurukula, the wife of Sandipani Muni gave a small container of chickpeas to the boys. Because Sudama, Krishna and Balaram, they went out to pick firewoods. Because in the Guru's ashram, many yagyas are happening and you need nice wood for yagya. So they went for picking these. During that time, a rain cloud came and there was storm. So Krishna went in one tree, Balaram went to another tree, and Sudama went to another tree. and they were caught under this rain cloud for a long period, and Sudama was feeling a little hungry. Now, of course, Krishna and Balaram, they don't feel hungry because they are Supreme Lord. So they have no hunger, they are self-satisfied. So Sudama, he took his portion of the chickpeas. Later on, he was thinking, well, Krishna is there, I'm here, maybe I'll just take his portion. So he took Krishna's portion. So of course, Krishna did not mind. But the law of karma is such that if you take something which is Krishna's, then you are in trouble. But if you ask Krishna permission, Krishna, this is yours, can I take this? Krishna says, yes, take it. So when you take with permission of Krishna, then there is no reaction. So anyway, so this was the incident with Sudama as a young boy. As he's growing up, he's married to his wife, he has some children. But because he stole from Krishna without his permission, he was living in a very poverty condition. He was living in a very destitute situation. But somehow they were managing their life. And every time Sudama would tell his wife, my friend Krishna, he's such a great person. And the wife is singing, every day you tell me this Krishna is such a great person. He has got a whole city to himself in Dwarka. He's got 16,801 palaces. And he's got a huge army. And he's got all facilities at his disposal. Every day I'm hearing this from you. And his wife says, why don't you go to Krishna and tell him that, no, he's your friend. You know, they say a friend in need is friend indeed. So if he's a real friend, he will sacrifice his own things for the friend. He will give everything for the friend, because that is what friendship is all about. So here, Sudama's wife is saying that you are always telling about Krishna, 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 Krishna. Now, Sudama, he never forgot Krishna. He always remembers Krishna. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the one who remembers me always, I also remember him. So Krishna was always remembering Sudama. But because they were in different parts, they never got to meet each other. So this time, out of frustration, Sudama says, okay, I will go and see my friend. So finally, Sudama is building up courage, and then he's saying, with what face can I go and see Krishna? I stole his chickpeas, you know. And because he was a Brahmana and learned person, he understood that his position was what it was because he took that something which was not his. He could have very well shouted from this tree to the other tree. It's not very far away. He said, Krishna, can I take your chickpeas? And Krishna said, yeah, go ahead, take it. No problem. But he did not. So he was thinking, with what face can I go and see Krishna? But if I go to see Krishna empty-handed, it will not look good. What should I take? So he had some cheap price. So he took that. But with great embarrassment, he was feeling very uncomfortable. So finally he went to Dwarka. And as he is approaching the main gates of the city of Dwarka, the gatekeepers there, they looked at Sudama and said, what do you want here? Because, you know, when you are a great man, only great people come to see you. Now here was Sudama, very skinny, you know, draped in like torn clothes, because he was in a very poor condition. And Sudama with humility said, I have come to see my friend Krishna. And this gatekeeper saying, Krishna is such a great personality. He is the king. King doesn't have poor friends. Even in this material we see, you know, when we have friendship, we are friends with equals. Unless you are really, really big-hearted person, then you may have friends who are lesser than you in terms of material facilities. But generally, they're equals. So, the gatekeeper is thinking that this guy cannot be a friend of Krishna. But Sudama, with great humility, says, please, just go and tell Krishna I'm here. And this gatekeeper was getting a little frustrated. He said, okay, you stand here, but don't move from here. So he goes inside the palace, and with great respect, he bows down to Krishna and says, Krishna, there is this person called Sudama at the gate. And as soon as Krishna heard the name Sudama, he jumped from his seat and ran towards the gate. And the gatekeeper was wondering, what happened here? I didn't even tell him what's happening. But he just heard the name Sudama. And Krishna was so eager to see his friend. And now that his friend has come to see him, he will go and see his friend. So he goes to see his friend. Then he embraces him. And then he brings him inside the palace. Then first he says, the state of Sudama is not looking good. He tells his assistants, bring all sorts of eatables, feed my friend. So he fed Sudama very nicely. And Sudama is feeling really embarrassed now, because he didn't come to be fed. Basically, in his heart he was thinking, I want to apologize to Krishna for what I did in my childhood. So Krishna is feeding him very nicely. Then he says, okay, get him the best clothes in the palace. So they brought very fine, refined silk and clothed him very nicely. Then Krishna said, now Sudama, you sit on my seat. So he made him sit on his own seat. It is a grand throne. Then Sudama is sitting with great embarrassment and feeling a lot of discomfort now. Then he says, bring water, rose water, and he started washing the feet of Sudama. And after washing the feet of Sudama, he takes the water and sprinkles on his head. And Sudama is feeling completely embarrassed that here is such a great person. Everybody is showing great honor and respect, and I am just an insignificant poor Brahmana. But Krishna reciprocates with his servant. As I was saying earlier on, that when we become servant of Krishna, we think, why we should be servant of Krishna? But it is not that we are serving Krishna in a slavery way. In Sanskrit word, the word for servant is called sevak. Sevak means one who renders service with love. And a servant doesn't serve you with love. You know, if you are a wealthy person and you have 2 or 3 servants employed, they will be in your employment to serve you. And whatever you have employed them for, cooking or cleaning the house or whatever service you have employed them for, that service they will render to you. But why? Because they know after rendering this service, they are going to get payment for it. So they are not doing for free. But serving the Lord, or what we call the servant of the Lord, we are serving the Lord out of our love for Him, without any expectation in return. That is called real service. So here Sudama was sitting there, and Krishna was so much appreciative because he missed his friend and he hadn't seen him for a long time. Now Krishna is not thinking, we were in the school same time, we were taught same subjects, I am a very big person with so many palaces, and here what happened to him? He didn't become successful. We have same schooling. But Krishna is not thinking like that. He just sees, here is my friend, long lost friend. So when we become servant of Krishna, that means that we become friends of Krishna. We serve Krishna. And when we begin to serve Krishna, then what does Krishna do? He reciprocates with us. And he serves us. So it's not a one-way street, it is a two-way reciprocation. As we serve Krishna, Krishna will serve us. And when Krishna is serving us, we feel great pleasure, and we also feel great pleasure when we are serving Krishna. So this loving exchange is so important in the process of bhakti. Generally, when we speak to people who are not very well funded with knowledge, they would think, be a servant. I am not a lowly person. I have pride. I cannot be anybody's servant. But sometimes, even though we have pride, out of circumstances, we have to become a servant. So most of us, if you're not living and dedicated your life in the ashram, then you are living in the outside world. And in order to live in the outside world, you have to have a house or an apartment. Either way, you have to have some dwellings. And these dwellings don't come free. Either you have to buy them or rent them. Either way, it costs money. So for renting or buying, you need money. So where are you going to get money? You have to put your pride on one side and get an employment job from someone. And when you get job, you are already a servant to your employer. And then he will pay you. And when you get the payments, then you get your, your house or your apartment. Then you get some extra money. You go to the supermarket and buy some food. You buy some clothing. All these things you require. But the point is that when you are living without Krishna, you cannot get all these things. So the basic point I want to make here is that when we become a servant of Krishna, out of our free will, free choice, then there is reciprocation. But as I said, circumstances are such, you need dwelling and food and clothing and so on, then you have to become someone's servant. And then in return, he will pay you some money to facilitate your requirements. But that is not service. It is just you're doing service out of the circumstances you are being placed in, but you're not doing out of love for your employer. Nobody in the right mind would work for an employer out of love. Only money. Because money is the love of this world. Of course, they say money is the root of all evil. So, you see so much evil going on around. It's because the world is just circulating on money. Now, with Krishna, when you serve Krishna, then you actually get connected with Krishna. As I made my first statement, is that Krishna is the powerhouse of happiness. And when you connect with Krishna by serving him, then you are connected into that powerhouse. And when you are connected to that powerhouse of happiness, you are also very happy. Because the soul doesn't need material facilities to become happy. Because it's spiritual in nature. So because spiritual in nature, then you need spiritual things that will make you happy. Material things will not make you happy. Just like whatever we have in terms of material facilities doesn't make us happy. I give this example many times, that someone might be under illusion thinking, if I become the most wealthiest person in this world, I will be very, very, very happy. Now you look at, there are so many happy, wealthy people in this world. And if you look at their lifestyle, and generally when you're a very wealthy person, you are always on the social media and people are talking about you. And you find out that this person is such a rich person, but he's not happy. I'll give you an example of Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the master of owner of Microsoft, he's made multi-billion dollars. He is so rich that no one can imagine how much money he has. And even if he goes out on a spending spree, spends $1 million every day, still he won't be a poor man. Because every time he spends $1 million, he gets 10 million in royalties coming in from everybody using Microsoft computer system and so forth. So he's never going to be out of money. But is he happy? He's not happy. Because his good wife, one would have thought, she's married to one of the richest men in the world, she can get whatever she wants. And they say the love of Lady Love is a diamond necklace. She can buy diamonds which will weigh her down with the money she has. But is she happy? No, because he's saying, my dear Bill Gates, we lived together for some time, but I'm not happy with you. I want a divorce. So they divorce. Now when you are a happily married person and you are divorced, do you think that is the happy situation? Is that person happy with all that money? He's not happy. So money doesn't buy you happiness. Because happiness is a state of consciousness. And state of consciousness doesn't come from external things. It comes from within. When the soul is happy, you are happy. Because your consciousness will be happily situated. And the soul is not happy, then you are not going to be happy with all the fineries of the world. So money is out of the equation. Then one will think, if I become the most powerful person, I'll be very happy. So we have, so-called the most powerful country in the world, United States of America. And now the present President Biden, is very old, very senile. Half his memory is gone. But still, he's the leader of the most powerful world. He has the whole US army at his command. He can do whatever he wants, basically. But come 2024 November, he's thinking, will I be re-elected? because he's going to lose his power. Now he can't do anything about it. Most likely, he won't be re-elected because his own party will reject him because of his age. See, because someone who's going to lead the country, you have to have someone with a good faculty up there, and make sound judgment. So power cannot make you happy. Power means that yes, temporary thing, I can do whatever I like, I can have so many people in my command, but it is a very short-lived, because that power is temporary, it's not permanent. So you've finished. That one would think, if I had the most fame, I would be very, very happy. There are so many famous people in this world. In the Western country, you find all the actors and actresses in Hollywood, in India, in the Bollywood scene, all the actresses and actors, they're idolized by masses who watch these movies. But in their own private life, they're the most miserable person. They're the most unhappy person. So fame doesn't bring happiness. Wealth doesn't bring happiness. Power doesn't bring happiness. Now someone thinks, if I am very beautiful, everybody will be looking up to me and saying, hey, I would like to be someone like her or someone like him. But beauty is also very short-lived. Every day we are aging. We don't see our age instantly, but when you are very young, in your prime, 21, and you look very, very, refined features of your body, and your hair is very nice, and you look very beautiful. In 20 years' time, you find wrinkles coming here, streak of gray hair coming here, and then your beauty is gone, and all those people who are admiring you, they won't admire you anymore. Because there will be someone else to be admiring. So beauty also is not long-lived. So what is that brings us happiness? We are running around here, there, everywhere for all these things. Of course, the soul, as I explained, is Satchit Ananda. That Ananda tendency is already for the soul. But because we cannot find true happiness or realize what true happiness is, then we are chasing false happiness. What we call chasing the rainbow. And of course, there is an old saying that at the end of the rainbow, there is a pot of gold. So you're chasing the rainbow. And rainbow is not something physical. It's just a reflection of light in the raindrops. So it's nothing physical. So if this is not physical, then where is the end of the rainbow? Only recently there was a whole discussion going on about rainbows, and the scientists said that what we see is just an arch of rainbow. But really, when you see from the sky, the rainbow is a circle. So there is no end to the circle. That kind of throws the scenario that there is a pot at the end of the rainbow, because there is no end of the rainbow. And if there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, don't you think people would have run after that and got a pot of gold and say, hey, guess what? I got my pot of gold. They did not get a pot of gold because there isn't. It's an imagination. So this so-called happiness which we are running around is an imagination of happiness. So we have to understand what is true happiness, and true happiness comes from associating with those who are devotees of the Lord. And the devotees of the Lord, because they have willingly accepted the Supreme Lord as their Lord and Master, they were serving the Supreme Lord, then the Supreme Lord reciprocates with them, and you get glimpses of happiness and satisfaction. Because happiness is basically in the terms that if you're satisfied, then you're happy. If you're unsatisfied, then you're unhappy. So satisfaction is what actually describes happiness. So when you are serving the Lord, then that satisfaction naturally comes in serving the Lord, and you are content with yourself and you are happy. So this is the secret of happiness. Otherwise, you may be going here, there, we are looking for happiness. Since I'm talking about happiness, we were going one time in the Himalayas mountain, and there is a holy place there called Kedarnath, which is Lord Shiva's abode. It's not very easy to go there. It's almost 28 kilometers of trekking into the steep mountains. And in the steep mountains of the Himalayas, the air is so thin that every step you take, you're going grasping for air. So it's not easy to get there. So I was taking a group of devotees to Kedarnath, and as we were walking, there was one elderly person in his 50s. He was sitting there very peacefully, and he had his rosary, he was chanting the names of the Lord. So these devotees who were with me, they said, we come for a very nice situation. In England we have wealth, and we are nicely situated. And this old man is sitting there, he has nothing, he has just an old chadar on his shoulder, and is a small little loincloth here. He has nothing, and he's sitting in the Himalayan mountains. And of course that was the summertime. Now in the winter time, as you all experience here in Switzerland, when the snow comes, it's pretty cold and uncomfortable. So they thought, let us offer him some money so he can buy some nice blankets and all the requirements for his well-being and comfort. So I said, no, don't disturb him. He's chosen this way of life voluntarily. He has not come here by some circumstantial force. So this is his free choice. So he's come here to do his meditation and his worship of the Lord. Don't disturb him. But this guy said, you're so proud of their money. No, we like to do some good thing. Do some welfare. I said, you cannot do this kind of welfare here. We are in the Himalayas. Your welfare doesn't mean anything. But they kind of forced me. So then I approached this elderly person sitting there, and with great respect I said, Babaji, please excuse me, in Hindi. And I said, that these are my friends who have come from England, and they want to offer you some money. And he just looked at me. And he said, do you think I look like I need money? Of course, I already knew he doesn't need money. But my friends, they were insisting that. So I said, but my friends are willing to do some welfare work for you. He said, do you think I'm a welfare case? So I've lost for words now. Then he said, even if you give me money, what good is your money? Do you see any shops here? I have to travel all the way down 250 miles and find a town which is a shop, and then buy myself a blanket and then come back all the way up here. So do you think I'm going to make that hard journey by foot all the way down 250 miles just for a blanket? I don't need a blanket. I'm quite happy here. Then I understood. So I said, okay, please forgive these people. They are not in knowledge. Then out of curiosity, I asked Babaji, just for my own curiosity, how long you have been here? He said, I've been here for 10 years. So, it's very nice. You are so comfortable situated here. And you seem very contained and very satisfied and very happy. You must have found God. I said, yes, I have found God. God is in my heart. And I am sitting here and chanting His names. That makes me very happy. So I said, well, this is what Prabhupada says. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Of course, we don't have to go to the Himalayas and do severe austerities to be happy. You can be sitting here in Switzerland in a Krishna temple and chant Hare Krishna and you will be happy. Then out of just curiosity, just a little social talk with him. So I just asked him, so where were you before you came here, 10 years before? He said, I was in Varanasi. Oh, really? So what were you doing in Varanasi? I said, I was a professor in the University of Varanasi. Then he said, so you come from England, huh? And he started speaking to me in English now. I was kind of taken aback that he is a 50-year-old man in India. Now I thought he probably doesn't know English. But he started speaking very fluent English with me. He said, I was an English professor in the University of Varanasi. I said, oh my God, I'm talking to someone who is, way up there. And then he said that since I was in Varanasi, teaching in the University of Varanasi, Varanasi being a very holy place, many saintly people come there. So after I finished my teaching, I would go and sit with these saintly people and have discourse with them and discuss about subject matter of spirituality. And finally, I come to the conclusion that all these things what I'm doing here is a useless waste of time. So he gave up his job and he went on foot to the Himalayas and he stayed there. And in the Himalayas, he had no material facilities. Only had some basic clothing and his rosary for chanting the holy name. And he was so content. For 10 years he's sitting there in the Himalayas and completely peaceful. No disturbance of any sort. He found his happiness. Not in the Himalayas, but in his heart. But the reason he went to the Himalayas is because when you go into the regular world outside, it is full of people. And they will disturb you like anything. So he wanted a place which is very peaceful, very quiet, and no disturbance from anybody. Even in the Himalayas, you don't even find animals up there. You know, animals are also a little intelligent, that they won't go and live in that kind of severe environment. But this person was quite happy, and then I said, where do you stay? He said, he just pointed to a little hole in the mountain. So that cave, that's my home. So he stays in the cave, and you know, he's quite happy there. And he said, well, okay, I see, you know, you're very self-content, very peaceful here, you're chanting the name of the Lord here. But what do you do for food? Because the soul doesn't need food, but this body does. So, no problem, many these pilgrims come and they offer me little food. So I'm quite happy. So, by Lord's arrangement, his dwellings are supplied to him by the mountain, and food he requires, pilgrims come and give him little food. How much food do you need? Because if you're not doing any serious physical work, then how many calories do you require? You don't, just little food to sustain your body. So he gets that. And he is quite happy. Now, on the other hand, I was making a joke the other day, that we, by our good karma, we get so much food stuff. And we eat and eat and eat and put on so many calories in the body, and the body says, well, so many calories are coming inside, what am I going to do with these calories? Okay, I will convert these calories into fat, and then it comes a nice Michelin tire here and obesity everywhere. Then what happens? Oh, I'm out of shape, I have to go to the gym now. So you go to the gym and start burning away your fat, and after you lose couple of pounds, you come back and eat more and put on back again. But you're not happy. Because sometimes they say what you have is you eat for comfort. And when you comfort eating, you just eat and eat and eat, and things it will bring you some kind of comfort. But you become so obese. And when you become obese, you have many problems. Heart problem, diabetes problem, high blood pressure problem. Then you go to the doctors, and doctor prescribes you like 10 times different capsules and medicine you got to take. It's not free, you got to pay for it. Unless you're in England, then you don't have to pay for your medicine. But then you have to pay taxes. So either way, they take from one pocket to the other pocket. Nothing is free in this world. So many anxieties. So when we come to Krishna and take shelter of the Supreme Lord Krishna, then Krishna says, I will show you how to live properly. And when you live properly according to Krishna's rules, regulations, then you will minimize on all your external needs. And when you minimize on all your external needs, then you become content and satisfied. And Krishna does provide what your needs are. Earlier I was saying to the Tamil Society devotees that Krishna says, I am the best well-wisher of all living entities. Now he doesn't discriminate against all living entities. He says, I'm a well-wisher of all living entities. So Srila Prabhupada says that even a small ant is provided for its needs. A large elephant who has a very large diet, Krishna is providing his needs. Unless, of course, a cruel man captures the elephant and then makes him work, then the elephant has no choice but to work for this man who is abusing his powers. But otherwise, in nature has provided everything for everyone. So all of us, nature is also provided for us. There is no need to do anything extra. Just Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Karmani avadhikarestu ma phaleshu kadachan. Say, simply do your duty according to the moral principles. Do things what is required with morality. And then when you do your duty, naturally everything what you require means your needs will be there. Basic needs are provided. So Prabhupada in the early 60s, when he was establishing Krishna consciousness, and when we got some farm land, Prabhupada said, this is very good. Now learn to live on the farm, simple living, high thinking. So minimize your living requirements. You need a small shed, you have that. You need food, grow your own food. Live simple. So you're minimizing all your extra needs. Otherwise, you have so many extra things, then it's all costly. And to fulfill all these costly things, you have to get a job and get more money. And you're not satisfied with the money. You are demanding more money and more money. And money is such that you will never be satisfied with, no matter how much money you get. Just 2 days ago, someone sent me an article from a newspaper saying one person had 4 houses and 2 most expensive cars. In the span of 2 weeks, he lost everything. So 2 weeks before, he was a proud owner of 4 houses and 2 most expensive cars. And of course, when you have 4 houses, you don't live in all 4 houses, so you rent it, and you get rental income coming, and so many facilities coming. Financially, you're well secure. But what happened, he didn't tell me in that article. But in the span of 2 weeks, he lost everything. So, life is very precarious. You never know. One day you are living up, and next day you are living down. But when you are a devotee, there is no living up or living down. It's living straight. There's no going up or down. You're on a stable field, right? Because you are living your life simply for serving Krishna. And when you live for Krishna, and Krishna says, since you are doing everything for me, I am obliged to do things for you. And I will reciprocate with you, and I will provide your needs. And as I said, Krishna is very mindful of only providing your needs. Unfortunately, in this illusionary world, we have this concept of I want. And very quickly I want becomes I need. And your wants become your need. And then the needs are never satisfied because you get something, you want something more. Yeah. And the marketing is such that it will entice you to always get something more. Remember when the Apple phone came out in the market? It was considered the best phone in the market. So Apple 1, Apple 2, Apple 3, Apple 4. Now is Apple 15 Pro Max. And each 6 months there's a new Apple phone coming out. And they're not cheap. So you have already Apple 14 and then, Apple 15. Okay, I want to get an upgrade. So you go and work hard and get Apple 15. And as soon as you get Apple 15, Apple 16 has come out. So you're never satisfied. Now, let's be honest here. What is the concept of a phone? When Mr. Bell discovered the concept of electronic communication, he discovered the call phone. And phone system was for what purpose? To communicate at a distance. You are here and someone is a further distance. Then instead of sending a letter which takes long time from going from your house to the post office, to the system of the post office, to go to the other post office, then the post office gives it to the postman and takes it to your address, and it takes quite some time before the mail comes to you. So we have the phone system which is instant. Now phone is for what purpose? Communication. Communicating what? Something which is very serious and urgent message. That's what phones were for. Because I can say, when I grew up, when I was young, like 7, 8 years old, that is what the phones were used for. And in a town where I was in Africa, if you want to make a phone call, you have to go to the telephone exchangery, tell I want to make a phone call to India. Okay, you book your phone call, and then they will tell you when to come, when the connection will happen. It doesn't happen instantly. And why you want to call someone in India? Because there's some urgent message you want to pass to your loved ones in the other country. So that's what you use the phone for. But what have you used our phone for now? Everything but communication. Smartphone, games on it, and this, that, and everything, browsing the web, and anything and everything under the roof. Communication. Then you're driving home from work, and you're going on the way, and you do, hello, yes, I'm just around the corner, I'm coming home. Really? Is that a serious message? Is that what you communicate? I mean, it's silly, but we do it all the time. All these things. So our lives are completely revolving around this so-called modern technology, and more technology comes, the more demands are there, the more demands get, the more technology comes, and technology improves, system improves, and then what happens? You want this technology, and to work hard for the technology, you work hard, get some more money, you get the technology, and after getting it, do you feel satisfied? You don't feel satisfied. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, simply come and serve me, and I will show you a proper way to go forward in life. And as I said earlier on, that this is a journey, and the body is a vehicle. So just like all of you may have come by a train or a bus or your own private car, but it's a vehicle. Either way, whatever vehicle is that, it brought you from your home destination to the temple. And after you finish this program today, and then you go, same conveyance, you go back to your home for this return journey. So what is the journey? Is taking you from A to B. So what is our life journey? Our life journey begins at birth, and at death it ends. Now, if you are successfully following your life journey, and at death you reach your destination, and that destination is the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. But if you do not complete your journey, and you have that figment of imagination is, yes, I have completed my journey because now I'm having my last breath and I'm dying, and then you die, then what happens? The soul says, okay, this vehicle is no more use to me. I will have to have another vehicle. So you go into another womb, take another birth, and start all over again. And you keep going in circles and circles and circles until someone comes and taps on your shoulders. Hey, excuse me, can I help you? No, you cannot help me. No, I want to help you, sir. You are living in this illusionary world. This is what Krishna says. Take this book, read this book. It will give you some guidance and understanding and knowledge and direction how to get to your destination. Because you don't know what your destination is. You may know your temporary destinations. That coming from home to the temple or from home to work. All these different temporary destinations are there. But the ultimate destination is the spiritual world. Because we are not of this world. We are making the best use of this material world under the circumstances. And of course, Krishna, by His grace, has provided us the facilities to be situated comfortably in this world, to complete our journey, not to stay here permanently. Nobody can stay here permanently, at least in the bodies we have. So we have to keep going in a cycle. Give up your body, get a new body. Give up your body, get a new body. So Krishna is saying that I will give you facilitation in this body, and I have given you intelligence, I have given you understanding, ability to understand. Use this to go and complete your journey. Now we're running out of time, so I'll quickly make a point that since we have been blessed with a human body, we have to live like a human being. But the only point is that even though we have a human body, we are living like animals. Because what is our daily activity? Eating, sleeping, and then mating, and then defending. Now eating, we make very, very elaborate arrangements for eating, very, very palatable foodstuffs. And sleeping, we make so nice arrangements for sleeping. Mating, you have a whole ritual of courting, and then it's an expensive business. Then you have your mating, and then defense. Good God, create atomic bombs and destroy everyone. Is that defending? Not really defending, but that's what we are doing. So Srila Prabhupada describes that if we live like this, then we are just a very polished animal, very sophisticated animal, but we're still animal. So we have human body, so we have to live like a human being. And what is a human being? Human being understands that I am temporary in this world, and my duty is to make my onward journey to the spiritual world. And I have only got this body as a vehicle to make my journey. Otherwise, we will get another body, and we'll be in the cycle. So we should take this opportunity which is given to us fully. Now, of course, there are millions of people out there in this world. Sometimes they will get someone tapping on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, have a moment. I want to tell you something about your life journey." So this is what we call the Sankirtan movement. Srila Prabhupada established the Sankirtan movement in 1966 to free this illusionary world from all this illusion of living in this world permanently, to waken them up spiritually and give them spiritual guidance and then put them on their spiritual journey. So I would assume that since you all come here to Krishna temple today, then you have at least got some spiritual awakening. And if you are coming for the first time, then at least the Lord in the heart has said, this is the right place to go to get spiritual awakening. And when you are spiritually awoken, then you know now, your eyes are wide open. Now you're not blinded by this illusionary world. You make the right decision and take to the process of Krishna consciousness. And not necessarily you have to live in the temple. The beauty of this Krishna consciousness is such that anywhere you are, you can practice Krishna consciousness. You can make your home a temple. You can make your country a temple. Wherever you are, there's no restrictions. Because the ultimate form of worship, the Supreme Lord, is besides all the different rules, regulations and rituals we perform, is chanting the holy name of the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given this holy name freely to everyone. So just take to this chanting. And this chanting is very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, that Hare Krishna mantra is, Prabhupada says, calling the Lord. For what? The dear Lord, now that I have awakened to spirituality, I am praying to you. Please kindly engage me in your service. So when we are engaged in Krishna's service, then we are connecting with Krishna through service, and we are properly situated in our journey. And if not today, then tomorrow, we have to discard this body. And when time comes to discard this body, we will be very happy to discard this body. Because we know we are going to an eternal place where we don't have to suffer birth, old age, disease, death. We don't experience any of these things because you are living in the spiritual world where it is eternity. And you have a spiritual body. And the spiritual body is not going to hanker for so-called material happiness. Because spiritual body means you are with Krishna. And if you are with Krishna, then there is eternal happiness there. So that's our ultimate journey in the spiritual world. So my humble request to all of you, take this opportunity which is given to us by the grace of the Lord and His pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, had made great endeavors to spread this message to everyone. Either we are fully recipient of this message or we are partly recipient of this message. Either way, it doesn't matter. The message is still the message. And we embrace this message fully and then take to the principles of Krishna consciousness and make our lives perfect. Thank you very much for your attention. Do we have any time for questions? Anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, so you understand your life journey? Yes.
The one thing is to serve. Thank you very much for your lecture. Thank you very much for your lecture, Maharaj. My question is, one thing is to serve. Perhaps we do some seva in the temple, but how can we serve it with love? To develop this loving relationship with Krishna.
No, you see, when you do a service without any expectation, then that is out of love. Because when you have expectation, that you will get paid in kind or you will get some return, then that is not love. Love is something you give without any expectation. And this, the closest we can understand the concept of giving love without expectation is a mother who has just given birth to a child. And that mother, out of lovingly, will take care of the young child because it's completely helpless, newborn child. The mother will feed the child, clothe the child, clean the child, comfort the child. And she's not thinking of getting anything in return. And what she gets in return is that little child smiles at the mother, and that is the payment of kind. And she gets even more happier when she sees the child is happy. So that loving service, when we render either to Krishna or to the society, to the devotees, it has to be done in a mood that I am not expecting anything in return. I just want to do something for their pleasure. I want to serve them for their happiness. So we just serve out of loving, without any expectation. That is what is described by great saintly persons. The devotion is without any expectation, without any motivation. We just simply render service. And that is not very easy, because in the material world we are conditioned. I give you something, you give me something. Otherwise, no deal. Nobody will do this. But a devotee of Krishna, because he has this understanding of spirit of devotion, so he will render service without any expectation. Like I don't know here, but in England we have a program called Food for Life. Every day devotees cook very nice, sumptuous vegetarian food, offer it to Krishna, and then go downtown. And then we go downtown, and where people are struggling for food, we give them. And we're not getting anything in return. But what we get in return is a very nice thank you and gratitude. So that is done out of love to help these poor persons who are in a difficult disposition. Although England is a welfare country, the government provides a free kitchen, free food in the kitchen, and housing and money and everything they provide. But still, people are still destitute due to certain situation. So devotees go out and give without any expectation. So this is called serving mankind out of love for them, without any expectation. So we can serve mankind, we can serve the Supreme Lord. Basically, if everybody develops this consciousness of serving, nobody will go without. Everybody will be happy, at least while they are in the material world. And ultimately, then they will be awakened and then go on a spiritual journey. Okay? Alright, I think it's gone 10 past 5, supposed to stop at 5. So I thank you all again, once again, for your time and attention this afternoon. Please take this process very seriously, and if you take this process seriously, only you will benefit, nobody else will benefit. For this one thing, we have to be greedy to benefit ourselves, to take us out of this miserable world. For that, you can be greedy. Other things, we cannot be greedy for. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Atmanivedana Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much, Maharaj, speaking on the nature of the soul and how to connect with the powerhouse of happiness, Lord Krishna. Maharaj will stay for a few days here, and he is planning to come next year again in the springtime, for which we are very grateful and thankful. Hare Krishna, thank you. So outside now the vegetarian feast is waiting you, so please have a plate, and later we will start again at 6:15 with the mantra meditation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.